Fun fact, I'm talking to the camera and I didn't start the camera for like a full minute before I realized that I wasn't filming. And yeah, so this is going to be that kind of video. Hey y'all, this is Erica from The Broken Spine. Welcome back to my channel, and if this is your first time here, thank you for stopping by. So spring has sprung. My asthma and allergies tell me so. So just fair warning, if you hear me breathing heavily or any type of whistling, wheezing, then that is the reason why. So there are two things that are going to happen in this video. I have an announcement that I will talk about at the end of the video, which I am super excited about. And for the bulk of this video will be about the books that I brought into my library in the first quarter of the year. And to be perfectly honest, only thing that I have here are February and March books. I don't remember if I bought any books in January. And I went back and I looked at the other videos and I see a December book haul, but I don't see anything after that that's a haul or haul related. So maybe I didn't buy anything, maybe I did and I just don't remember what I bought, which obviously is a very good possibility. But I am absolutely 100% proud of myself because in the month of February, I only bought 2 books. And March kind of went off the rails. So we'll start obviously with the books that I got in February. So this one I was walking by it at the bookstore and it caught my attention. The cover caught my attention, and it's called Gothic Fantasy at the bottom, if you can see that. Black sci-fi short stories. There are only 2 authors in this book of 20 that I have heard of, and the first author, Timmy O, I've heard of. I haven't read anything by them, but I have heard of them. And the other author who I have read from, not any science fiction though, because I didn't know that they wrote science fiction, and that is W.E.B. Du Bois. So of course I've read The Souls of Black Folks and some of his other essays. But I did not know that he wrote any science fiction. I don't know if this is the only science fiction work that he's done, so I'm going to have to check into that. And the next book that I got in February, which you will hear more about in another video that is going to be coming in the next week or so, is Kim Jeong, born 1982, by Cho Nam Ju. And this was translated from Korean and published in 2020 in the US. I've already started reading this and I am intrigued. Kim, our main character, leaves her job to have her baby and raise the child. Her husband works long hours in IT, and so she is the primary caretaker of their child. And one day they're sitting down having dinner, breakfast, either way they're eating, and all of a sudden she starts to speak in someone else's voice. Like she sounds exactly like them and has their mannerisms and whatever. And so her husband is like, hey, that's cool, but you should kind of stop because it's also kind of creepy. And I want to say that the voice that she's doing, I don't know if I should say it that way, but yeah, I'm just going to say it that way. The voice that she's doing is either her mother or her mother-in-law's. I can't remember because I started reading it late last night, but I am intrigued to, like really get into this. The next group of books that I have are books that I got from this free bookstore in Baltimore called The Book Thing. Data and I did a whole bookstore nerd day, so we went to a bunch of different bookstores. I only got 3 books, which is kind of unusual, but anyway, I did. The first book I got, I'm not sure that I want to keep. When I read the description at the very beginning, I was like, oh yeah, this sounds interesting. I'll read it. But after rereading the description, I'm like, I don't know. So in the comments, if you have read it, let me know, and let me know if you think I should keep it read it. The summary. Did I say what the book is? America's Dream by Esmeralda Santiago. Here we go. America Gonzalez is a hotel housekeeper on an island off the coast of Puerto Rico, cleaning up after wealthy foreigners who don't look her in the eye. Her alcoholic mother resents her. Her married boyfriend, Carrera, beats her, and their 14-year-old daughter thinks life would be better anywhere but with America. So when America is offered the chance to work as a live-in housekeeper and nanny for a family in Westchester County, New York, she takes it as a sign that a door to escape has been opened. Yet even as America revels in the comparative luxury of her new life, daring to care about a man other than Carrera, she is faced with dramatic proof that no matter what she does, she can't get away from her past. So that is America's Dream by Esmeralda Santiago. Again, let me know in the comments if you think I should keep it or donate it. The next book that I have, I got simply because of the cover, and that is a collection of short stories by Lu Xun, and the introduction is by Ha Jen. I know nothing about this author, never heard of them, and the only thing that I know is that he was born in 1881 and died in 1936. He's Chinese. He spent some time in Japan. That's all I know. So I'm interested to see what he writes, how his writing style is. And the last book that I got from the book thing is James Welch's Fool's Crow, and this is a mystery, and James Welch is an Indigenous author and a member of the Blackfeet Nation, and this book, Fool's Crow, is about the titular character is a warrior and a medicine man, and he has a vision that, what do they call them? And I'm probably mispronouncing this, Napequans, which is the translated term apparently is white men. They are moving closer and closer and encroaching on their land, on the Blackfeet land, and they have to decide whether or not they're going to fight for their land or if they're going to surrender it. And it tells that story. So I have another James Welch book that I got a while ago, and I was like, no, I got that one in January. Anyway, so I did get a book in January. Side note, wow, okay. So anyway, oh, wow. Okay, I did. Wow. Winter in Blood by James Welch. So I got that in January because I wanted to increase the Indigenous authors that I read throughout the year, and I saw this at one of my used bookstores, and I was like, I'm gonna buy it, and I did. So here we have that. What is this one about? The narrator of this beautiful, sometimes bizarre tale is a sensitive, self-destructive young man living on the Blackfoot Reservation in Montana. He is haunted by memories of an older brother dead at the age of 14, of his father who made white men laugh at the local bar, found frozen to death in a snowdrift, and of his once proud heritage. He sleepwalks through his chores, consoles himself with women. The visions he sees and the echoes he hears are swallowed up in Montana's vast emptiness. Yet he struggles against that emptiness, searching for something that will bind him to the lands of his ancestors. So those are the two James Welch books that I have. The next set of books I got was when Dana and I went to another bookstore, not a free bookstore though. The first one is Like Water for Chocolates by Laura Esquivel, and this came on my radar a few years ago. Water for Chocolates, I'm not going to read the entire summary, but this was apparently the #1 bestseller in Mexico in 1990. It's a lively and funny tale of family life in turn of the century Mexico, and it is a celebration of food. And if I remember correctly, like there are like little recipes. So it has the ingredients and then the preparation. And if I remember, it's like the story, the preparation is the story not only on how to prepare it, but it's it's a story in general. I like that concept. And then I have Liberte by Caitlyn Greenidge. This was one of my most anticipated books of 2021. The next book that I got, when I saw it, I was like, ooh, I'm gonna get it because I've been eyeing it. And it's The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr. And I was flipping through it, to check it out, but it looks untouched. But I opened it up, and to my surprise, it's signed. So I got a signed edition. And the next group and the last group of books that I have are from a favorite used bookstore that's near me. The first one that I have is Neil Gaiman's The Ocean at the End of the Lane. I saw this on my way out the door and said, well, why not? I don't know anything about it. So if you know anything about it, if you've read it, let me know in the comments, as well with any of the books that I mentioned in these stacks. Let me know if you've read any of them in the comments section below. Also, if you think that there are any that I should prioritize. My pile is getting a little high. So the next one that I got is The Savage Detectives by Roberto Vogliano. And I don't know if you can see, but up there is 2666, which is a 3-volume set. But anyway, we're talking about this one. So I saw this, and supposedly The Savage Detective is the one that really set Vogliano's career in motion. Just real quick, what this is about. It's a dazzling, supposedly, it's a dazzling novel, the book that established Vogliano's international reputation. It tells the story of 2 modern-day Quixotes, the last survivors of an underground literary movement, perhaps of literature itself, on a tragic comic quest through a darkening entropic universe, our own. The Savage Detectives is an exuberant, raunchy, wildly inventive, and ambitious novel from one of the greatest Latin American authors of our age. All right, the next one that I have is Daphne du Maurier's My Cousin Rachel. I'm not going to talk about this because I think this has been pretty well covered on BookTube, and plus there's a movie out, so there's that. The next one, I had no idea that this author wrote horror stories, and that is Arthur Conan Doyle. I got the best horror stories of Arthur Conan Doyle. I, like most of us, know about Sherlock Holmes. He's most famous for that. Did not know he wrote horror stories. So I picked this up to check it out, see if it's, how horror like it is. The last book that I got, I actually sent Emma Ray from Emma Ray Empowered a picture of it, asking her if she had read it, because I know that she likes Jeff Vandermeer. And to my surprise, she had not read it, but it is on her bookshelf apparently. So, and it is The City of Saints and Madmen. Emma Ray and I were talking about it on Friday. I was reading her the description, which I will read here, and then I had this idea, and she was like, do it. And I was like, maybe, but I think I am going to do it. Anyway, so as I ramble, in The City of Saints and Madmen, Jeff Vandermeer has reinvented the literature of the fantastic. You hold in your hands an invitation to a place unlike any you've ever visited, an invitation delivered by one of our most audacious and astonishing literary magicians. Maybe, I don't know. Ambergris, I don't know how to pronounce that name, but city of elegance and squalor, of religious fervor and wanton lusts, and everywhere on the walls of courtyards and churches, an incandescent fungus of mysterious and ominous origin. In Ambergris, a would-be suitor discovers that a sunlit street can become a killing ground in the blink of an eye. An artist receives an invitation to a beheading and finds himself enchanted. And a patient in a mental institution is convinced he's made up a city called Ambergris. Imagined its every last detail, and that he's really from a place called Chicago. So when I was reading this and talking to Emma Ray, I had this idea. I was like, this sounds a lot like James Joyce's Finnegan's Wake. I had to read this in college, and it is the main character in here falls off a ladder, hits his head, and basically the story is told in stream of consciousness. I thought, because they sounded similar, that I would reread this and read this and then talk about them both. So If you would like to see me do that, let me know in the description, in the comments. Those are all the books that I got in January, February, and March. And now it is time for the announcement that I'm super, super excited about. So I read last month, Don't Cry for Me by Daniel Black. And I was reading it and I was like, I need somebody to talk to about it. And the only person that I knew of that was reading it or was going to be reading it was Greg at Supposedly Fun. And so I asked him if he had started it. He hadn't, but to my surprise, his husband, Joel, had started reading it and wanted someone to talk to about it. So we ended up doing an impromptu buddy read. And so it had been on my mind for a little bit, and I decided to reach out to the author to see if he would talk about it. And he agreed to do an interview with Joel and I, and that is going to be taking place at the beginning of April. I'm super excited about it. Once we finish hammering out the details, I will let you know. So if you have any suggestions about what I should prioritize of these books, let me know in the comments. And if you have any thoughts on them in general, if you've read them, let me know in the comments without spoiling it, please and thank you. And if you like this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and also hit the bell to be notified of new content. So I will see you all later. Thanks for watching. Bye.